Yeah.
But when I do...
There's underneath of it.
No,
What's up, guys? David with Miracle Canine. Here we are with Frankie, a dog in for a board and train with some serious leash pulling and reactivity issues. And today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to take your walk from being a disaster to excellent that you could implement right away on your very first session. So step number 1 is making sure your dog has the right equipment. Way too often we see clients come in that have their dogs on things like harnesses, they have their dogs on things like flat collars like this one that aren't even like a martingale style that your dog can slip out of. All these tools, all that they're going to do is either make things very unsafe, where if your dog slipped out of the collar, or obviously were pulling in a way where it was low on the neck affecting their trachea, or if they were on a harness where it's a tool that's designed for them to pull into, it's going to promote the pulling and the problem that you're having in the first place. So we want to make sure first and foremost that we have the dog on the right training equipment. Now, what's the right training equipment? For me, I always tell everybody, if you could just start off with getting your dog on a properly fitted pinch collar, something that's snug and high on the neck, you will immediately see a reduction in the pulling. You will immediately see better leash manners once you start implementing that tool. And I'm not a believer that like the tool is what fixes everything. Obviously, the tool, without making the following 4 adjustments that I'm going to go over, is not going to do you any good, and eventually your dog will learn to pull into the collar and revert back to their old ways. But we want to start off on the right foot. We want to make sure that we have the proper equipment in place, so as we implement these other tips, things are already moving in the right direction so that we can start gaining some leverage with our dog, big picture here. So we got him on a prong collar, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and switch a leash over here. I'm going to pop him onto that prong collar, and then I'm going to take off this slip lead that I have. Now, if you don't have a prong collar, you're waiting to buy one, whatever, you can use a slip lead that is fitted really high on the neck, and it's going to work better than a harness or a regular flat collar or anything like that. But ultimately, we want to give ourselves the tool that's going to put us in the best possible chance of being able to work through these issues. And again, for me, that is the prong collar initially. So, got him fitted up with a prong collar here. So now we're going to move into step number 2. Step number 2, this is something that we see people do all the time when they bring their dogs in for their first session with us. They're standing in one spot, we're having a conversation, we're discussing their goals, what they want to work on, things like that. And every time the dog starts moving off in this direction, that direction, every time the dog hits the end of the leash, what they do is they go, oh, you want to go that way? And they step with the dog. They step with the dog. They step with the dog. And notice, even as I'm doing this, how it is effectively training him to pull into the leash. The pulling is actually getting worse every time that I do that. And the problem is most owners do this subconsciously. They're not even aware of the fact they're doing it. They're literally mid-conversation doing this. They're mid-conversation doing this. And all it's doing is promoting the pulling. So step number 1, as you're working through these issues, we want to make sure that we're a post. So every time he does that, when I'm coming to a stop, I'm not even gonna do, this isn't even about doing anything. This whole video is about what not to do. And what I am not going to do is I'm not going to move in the directions he wants to go. When I come to a stop, I am a post. That means if he pulls off in that direction, I'm standing right in this spot right here, and he's gonna learn pulling into that leash doesn't accomplish anything that he wants to accomplish, and he's gonna have to relieve that pressure himself by coming back into me. So, step number 1, case in point right here, be a post. See how he's trying to pull into it? Because I'm not reinforcing it, what's gonna happen is he's not gonna dig further into the leash like he did a moment ago when I heeded to his pressure when he was trying to pull. So this is step number 2. Make sure that when you come to a stop, you are a post. Hold the handle of that leash. Keep it nice in your core center of gravity. Obviously, this is a strong dog. This dog probably weighs more than I do. We got all sorts of stuff going on, like scooters, people, things like that. So I've got it nice and at my center of gravity here, so that if he tries to pull towards any of those types of distractions, I'm going to be able to brace myself and not allow him to go any further. So step number 2, again, post when you come to a stop. Step number 3. So all too often we find that people try to hold their leash in one spot, but when the dog starts getting a little extra pulley or seeming like they want to sniff in a particular direction, they loosen the slack, then they shorten it, then they loosen it, then they shorten it, then they loosen it. And again, just like in step number 2, all you're doing here is teaching your dog to pull on the leash. So when you start walking, you want to make sure you pick whatever spot is going to be comfortable that you want to hold your leash in, grip it right there, and do not let out any more slack. You're holding that leash in that one spot. That is the fixed length of the leash that you're going to give your dog, and it's going to stay right there. Notice I'm not even pulling. He tries to pull. He learns that I'm not budging to it, which forces him to relieve the pressure himself and come closer to me. So hold that leash in one spot. Make sure you commit to it. We'll have some people, if they have like a rope leash, literally tie a knot in the leash in the spot that they want to fix it. So if it's right there, tie it right there. That way you can literally just hold that knot and consciously know if that knot isn't in your hand that you're giving leash or taking leash too much. So hold leash in one spot and make sure that you do not change that or give the dog more slack when they try to pull. So moving on to step number 4. So obviously up until this point, we've worked on making sure we have the right equipment. We've made sure that we're not reinforcing our dog's pulling by moving with them when they try to go off and sniff other things. We've made sure that we're not playing the flexi lead game of giving slack, taking slack, giving slack, taking slack. So the last step comes into, or the 4th step comes into, when we're actually walking, we are deciding where it is we're going and we're committing to where we're going. Again, all too often we see people go for their walks and they think, oh, this is the dog's walk. The dog should just dictate where they go, when they go there, etc., etc. If they want to go this way, we're going that way. If they want to go this way, we're going that way. And they are completely at the mercy of the dog, and everything's a disaster at that point. So keep in mind, the walk is for both of us. The walk is not just for the dog. The walk is for me to be able to enjoy myself. The walk is for the dog to be able to get some physical and mental stimulation by going out and exploring in nature. But in order for us both to enjoy this process, we've got to make sure that the dog is going to stay respectful to us here. So I've got my leash fixed in one spot. I'm going to pick my spot I want to walk, which is this route where I go down to the sidewalk here, or down to the parking lot. I'm going to make a left. We're going to start walking. And no matter if my dog wants to stop to go off to one of the trees or do anything like that, I am committed to where I'm walking. And you're going to see that alone is going to make a huge difference in conjunction with the other 3 steps to make sure that the dog understands that they need to be paying attention to me so that we can start to get some leverage here with things. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that now. So I'm just going to start walking. And I'm showing all of this without actually doing anything. I'm not going to be really giving any formal leash corrections intentionally. I'm not giving any commands or anything intentionally. I'm simply showing that when you enforce things in such a way where you do less, where you stop reinforcing what it is that your dog's doing, that you will make sure that your walking will get 10 times better virtually overnight with things. A lot of what sparked this video initially was I was out of the country, and anytime I travel out of the country, I'm always so impressed when I see other dogs in public because they're so much more well-behaved than the dogs out here. And a lot of this is a culture thing of what people do and don't do with their dogs. A lot of people view their dogs solely as dogs. A lot of people that live in the cities and the places that we go, they have to be able to just take their dogs out to go for quick potty runs, and it's not all about the dog doing whatever they want to do and stuff. So they're able to take them out and follow these general principles and inhibit so many of the problems that we generally would see because of that. So as we eliminate some of those things that we generally do, we stop putting the dog in a position where they're making all the decisions on the walk. And you see, every time he tries to pull out, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just making sure he realizes that pulling out towards or away from anything in particular is not accomplishing the thing that he wants to ultimately accomplish. So walking with intention, wherever it is I'm going, I'm just going. Let's say I wanted to turn. Turning, walking with intention. I didn't give him the option to decide, do I want to turn, do I not want to turn? We just turned and we went. I held the leash in one spot. I didn't say anything. And the more you do stuff like this, the more you're ultimately going to see your dog pay attention to you for direction, because if they don't, they're going to heel the end of the leash, and that pressure is only going to relieve when they start actually coming to us. Again, if I stop, I just stop. And I'm posted up here right now. I'm not giving any more slack. If he tries to go over towards anything, we're simply not going to let him. We're just going to come to a stop. And then when I want to start going again, we just go. Again, the stop. Perfect. So step number 5, enough with the on-leash greetings. No more letting your dog go up to people, letting your dog go up to dogs. If you truly want to improve on your walking skills, you need to get your dog seeing that people playing basketball over there, dogs walking by on the other side of the street, they mean nothing to him. You're not going to engage with those things. They're no different than that park bench over there, and that there's no sense in even paying attention to them in the first place. The more you do these on-leash greetings, the more you are conditioning into your dog to fight to get away from you, to go get excitement and entertainment from something else outside. When I'm on the walk, I want to be the most exciting thing to my dog. I want to be the only thing my dog is paying attention to. And the only way we do that is by nixing the on-leash greetings. Past that, as you guys have heard us talk about 1,000,001 times, for dogs that are remotely reactive like him, that get stressed out, that maybe aren't the most social, having this unnatural, trapped on a leash interaction that happens for 10 seconds does more harm than it does good, and actually trains your dog to be more reactive in the future in order to make those scary things go away. So we've got to stop the bleeding, we've got to stop the on-leash greetings altogether, and that, in conjunction with the other 4 steps that we implement, will make sure that your walking will go from being a disaster to extremely good virtually in a day or 2. And we're going to leave you guys with a bonus step here, which is once you've eliminated all of the things that you're doing that makes things worse and makes your dog pull harder and makes your walk less enjoyable, you could start adding in an additional correction when your dog tries to fight the pressure. So we're going to follow all of our same steps. We're going to make sure we post up when we stop. We're going to make sure we're holding the leash in one spot. We're going to make sure we walk with intention where we're trying to go. And we're going to make sure we're not doing any on-leash greetings with people or dogs. In addition to that, now as I'm doing all of that stuff, if my dog tries to fight into the leash, I'm going to start adding in a correction on the leash for the lack of focus. And this will take things from being good to great very, very quickly, as your dog doesn't just understand that these things don't work in accomplishing what they want to accomplish, but in fact, there are some consequences for losing focus as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as we walk the rest of the way. What's that? Great Dane.
Great Dane?
Yep. No, sorry, he's training right now. Learning to ignore people. Perfect example of step number 5, which is no on-leash greetings. If I would have let that person come up and pet him right there, all that would have done is train him that in the future when he sees people to start getting really excited and trying to approach them in anticipation of that excitement happening again. And you see one correction doing all of what I did before, but you see that mixed with those things is causing him to walk absolutely beautifully with me and get past the rest of this stuff. And then again. adding in the stops, making sure he stops right away with me. Good job, buddy. Good job. So, those are 5.5 steps that you guys can implement right now to fix your leash walking with your dog. As always, any questions you have, leave them in the comments below.